Good evening, CFT Nation. We are back for another episode. We are in episode 11, I think. Is that where we're at, Kevin? Episode 11. So welcome back. We weren't planning on doing this, Wendy, until after the holidays.
Well, we like doing podcasts, so I think it's kind of fun that we're doing another one, but it was a necessity, actually.
Yeah, some events happened, and we felt like we couldn't wait till after the new year to do another podcast. So here we are. We did a quick one, or I did a quick one by myself on Thursday without you. That felt weird.
But people were really appreciative. A lot of members reached out to me, and that helped keep them informed. And so they were grateful that you did that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay. So we're here right before Christmas, and we have a lot to talk about. The Indecent Supposal is the show name. So do we want to talk about why we came up with Indecent Supposal?
I think so. This teaser was a good one, I think.
Yeah. So indecent, the definition of indecent is not conforming with generally accepted standards. So we're going to talk about the superintendent and how he didn't conform to the law and standards in bargaining.
I like it, and I think that was a great way to title this because there was nothing generally accepted about the way he did this.
Right. So what specifically are we going to talk about before we get into the main segment?
So the events from Thursday, December 18th.
Okay.
One-on-one meetings that the superintendent had with individual teachers.
Yeah, on December 18th, he had meetings in a lot of the school buildings about bargaining with individual members.
Mm-hmm. And what else?
He then sent a memo to members outlining bargaining dates. He then sent the supposal. After he sent the supposal to you, a few minutes later, he sent it out to all of our union members, the exact supposal that we had never seen before. And this was the supposal he was talking to in the one-on-one meetings with our membership. And
he actually broke the law yet again.
Yep, labor law once again. And we filed a ULP, and we'll get into that and the letter that I sent to him that he once again ignored.
Okay.
We'll get into all that. But before we do, Wendy, we want to be completely transparent. We want to be truthful in how we report things. And when we make a mistake, unlike your district, we're going to own up to it. We're going to admit we were wrong, and we're going to correct it. So in our last show, we made a mistake, and we need to correct it.
Yeah, that was the Heights Hustle, for those of you who watched the last episode. And we were talking about a board member. We were talking about someone we know as Wes Wooford, but his actual name is Ralph Wooford.
Right.
And we reported something that actually wasn't factual.
So we want to make a retraction and correct our mistake and give a little bit of new information as it relates to what we're talking about right now.
Okay. So we reported, we showed some stuff from a Fox 2 article, and it stated that Ralph was the water commissioner in Cahokia. And and what the article said was true. Right. That part was true. But Ralph Wooford on the 187 board was actually not the water commissioner. It was
his son, Ralph.
It was his son.
Right. So his son, Ralph, worked for the water department. The Fox 2 News article reported that the board member did, not the case. So we wanted to correct that because we reported that as well. But it doesn't change the fact that the whole Wooford family at one point or another has worked for either the city or the school district run by the McCalls.
Well, and then ironically, something really interesting happened the very next day after the Heights Hustle. And we were talking about the Woofords and all these different people that it seems may have, like some connection, like their family members do a little bit better than my family members.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So an email. Well, first of all, you sent me a text message and said, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe what just happened." And then later we got an email from some members that her principal sent out that she was getting a promotion the very next day to a district office position. And here's the email. It just says, and it's from the principal, I think it's Tiana Montgomery, Worth Middle School. Please join me in congratulating Raquel Wolford on her new position in the CUSD Finance Department. She will be greatly missed here at Worth. No doubt she will be an asset to her new role and department within the district. Let's wish her the best.
So that is what went out, and that's what was sent to me. And the timing was really priceless, but it's never posted.
Right.
I knew nothing about that job.
Wasn't posted. So if it wasn't posted, people didn't have a chance to apply for it. It wasn't voted on by the board.
I see that. I mean, like, and again, I always want to be really careful to put truth forward and be very transparent. I've looked through the things that I know to look through, and I'm just not seeing anything that's come up about this job.
Yeah, this is this unfortunately is kind of the way things happen. They have people in mind for a position, political insiders. They give them the position and move on. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So in the reporting last show, the Heights Hustle, the $22,700 in Wolford family donations.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of money to me.
So. It's a lot of money. So it begs one to question, is all of those donations the cause of this? We don't know, but you know, yeah. They're not giving it to just outsiders. So interesting. All right. So now that we made our correction, right, because we were inaccurate and now we're accurate, what do you say we start talking about the indecent supposal? Okay,
that's our main segment tonight.
Yep.
So let's talk through what happened.
Okay, why don't you talk through it? You got all the phone calls. You started getting phone calls on the morning of the 18th right away. And then you called me and we kind of touched base later on in the day when you were on your lunch, and it happened over and over and over again. So why don't you walk me through what you heard from your members?
So like you said, it began early in the morning. I hadn't actually left my house yet, and I started getting messages that individual teachers were being called into offices behind closed doors and they were alone with the superintendent. Mm-hmm. And you know, even that is kind of interesting. And that doesn't happen every day, but there was such alarm over this. People, I don't know, people in most districts would be afraid, so they like go meet with their superintendent. But this was like shocking. Like right. All of a sudden, like he wants to meet with me, and you know what's going on in there. Right. And we learn, or I immediately learned that he was telling them about a proposal for negotiations. And that's how they presented it to me.
Supposal.
And I later learned that it's a supposal.
Oh, okay,
but at the beginning, they're like, he said he wanted to share with us a proposal for negotiations and that it was about money. So I called you because I thought, what in the world is happening? I knew that there was no money on the table
for teachers. Yeah, they had never given us a salary proposal in the 6 months that we bargained.
And we'd asked.
Over and over and over again.
So, yeah, my phone started blowing up over this.
Yep. So he did it at one school after another. He would talk to the secretaries, have them call the teacher down. He would meet with them behind closed doors and give kind of his spiel on what was happening. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to talk about why that's problematic.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the difference between a supposal and a proposal. I'll probably take that one. It's kind of technical. Not that you can't handle technical. And then we're going to talk about his memo about bargaining dates, because he sent a memo out, like we said. So why don't we talk about supposal versus proposal first?
Okay.
They're very different, supposal and a proposal. Let's talk about proposal first.
Okay.
Proposal is an official offer. So all of this bargaining cycle, we've been passing back and forth proposals. So what is a proposal? A proposal is binding on the party that's making the proposal, meaning once I present it, I can't take it back, right? Mm-hmm. It creates legal obligations under the law because I can't take it back. once I say we're proposing this, I can't say, oh no, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Or once I withdraw something in a proposal, it's gone, it's off the table. Okay. Now a supposal is very different. A supposal is not binding on the party making the supposal. So think of a supposal as, hey, Wendy, I want to give you this supposal. What if we did this?
Suppose we
offered 3% on the base plus step. Would you be willing to accept that? That's a supposal. It's not formal. It's not binding, like I said. If you don't agree, so for instance, if we don't agree to his supposal in bargaining at our next session in January, they can do one of two things. They can pull that supposal back completely and go back to their proposal where they're offering nothing. Okay. So I will say this, in bargaining, supposals typically happen at the very end of bargaining. So you and I are bargaining and there's 3 issues on the table left and we can't make any movement, right? So I may make a supposal to you just to kind of get your thoughts on something and say, well, suppose I gave you what you wanted in salary, but our language items, the 2 language items that are out there, we want those the way we wrote them. Suppose that is, what would you do?
And then I could respond. It's a way to get a deal.
It's a way to get a deal. It's really early for supposals since they have about 40 or 50 proposals on the table. So that's the difference between supposal and proposal. It's very interesting that they made a supposal at this point in time.
Well, and to simplify it, the way I kind of think of it, and I've been at the table in Cahokia for a bunch of different bargaining cycles, but when they give us a proposal and there's money, in my brain, I sort of think, this is the least then we'll get, because they formally put out there, like, if this was a proposal for a 3% or whatever, you would know, like, we're at least walking away with that. But
Correct.
a supposal is really not a real bona fide offer. It's like, they can, if we just don't agree, it's gone and you're back to square one.
It could be gone, yeah, for sure. And we could be back to them not offering anything.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the difference between supposal and supposal. So now let's kind of talk a little bit about why the superintendent meeting with individual teachers and sharing this supposal that, I'll say again, the bargaining team, union officers had never seen this supposal before. Why is that a problem?
It's a problem for a lot of reasons, but the first is it's just against the law. So it's an unfair labor practice. In legal terms, parties all agree that this is out of bounds. So you're not allowed to do this.
Right. So in the Labor Act, and I've talked about this before on the show, is how the union and management have to interact together. So there's a section 14 of the Labor Act, that says the employer cannot do these things. There's a section that says the union cannot do these things. Right. And one of the things that it says about what the employer can't do is the employer can't bargain in bad faith. They can't individually bargain with members. And that's, in this case, what they did when they shared a supposal with members before they shared it with union leadership and the bargaining team. So when these meetings were going on, you called me, and we quickly decided that we were going to put together a letter to send to him, right? So it's what you have in front of you, which is the cease and desist letter that I sent to the superintendent at 8:52 a.m. shortly after the school day started, and he started having these meetings. And basically, it just says you're having these individual meetings. We haven't seen the supposal yet. Immediately cease and desist any direct dealing with bargaining unit members regarding wages, hours, and terms and conditions of employment. That's what the act says. Immediately route all bargaining proposals, concepts, and discussions through the union's designated bargaining team and no one else. I went on to say, since June, you have been in no hurry to bargain. So 6 months, right?
Right.
Even after the union repeatedly asked to accelerate the process. Now you're telling our members that this, meaning negotiations, has gone on long enough. But this timeline is entirely the result of the district's delays, not the union's. We have bargained in good faith as required by law and expect the district to do the same. Then I told him what we were going to do. The union will proceed with a labor practice charge before the close of business today. The law is not optional, even for you. So we filed an unfair labor practice, a ULP. And I'll note that I sent it to the attorney. I sent it to assistant deputy, whatever her title is, Superintendent Mitchell. I sent it to Stephanie Belt. I CC'd you on it. And I did not receive a response until Friday at 8:05 p.m. where I received the response at the top, and you can see it. It says received. Thank you. So he continued having these meetings over and over and over again all day on Thursday.
Yes.
Friday night, he responds, I got it. Thanks. So he knew he was wrong. He knew he was breaking the law, but he did it anyway. So why else is it a problem? You know, you cited it's against the law. Why else is it a problem for your members, for you as the union leader, Wendy?
Well, it undermines us as the exclusive bargaining agent for all the people in our unit that count on us. Like,
Right.
We've all agreed that we're going to play by a certain set of rules, and now it weakens our position.
Right. It's a tactic of his. And we've talked about this. You know, he wants to divide and conquer. So he wants to split your groups up. He wants to pick individual teachers off. He's being a bully with them. He thinks he can get his way by sitting down with teachers and telling them a story, telling them, according to what people told us, half the information to get them on his side, to scare them so that they vote one way, and which is his way, to accept this.
Or even just to be a little misleading. He didn't meet with everybody. He met with individual people. So not everybody heard the same thing. Some people didn't hear anything at all, which
Right.
is problematic. But also, he thinks he can probably get a read on, would somebody take this? Would somebody take this? And that really changes our position really at the table. So when we are trying to bargain, and you know this, when we're going back and forth, we are always saying to the other side, our members would never take this. He's trying to discern, well, would some of them? Would
Right.
half of them? Would a third of them? And it impacts our ability to get more than this, you know, if he believes that people fell for this.
Yeah, so he's filling them out. He's
Mhm.
trying to, prod, can I get a read on what people are thinking on this?
Because don't you think if he thought it was a really great deal, that he would have just brought it to us? Because we would have thought it was a great deal too if it was great.
Absolutely. If it was such a great deal, it would have been a proposal that he can't take back.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction here, and I'm going a little off of what we talked about we were going to
Okay.
do. So I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to make a prediction that when we come back from bargaining and we have our next CFT live and we talk about bargaining, I'm going to predict that they go away from this supposal and go back to the proposal and include things in there that they removed, and the salary in the proposal is going to be less than the supposal. I'm going to make that prediction. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But I'm going to make that prediction. I'm going to write that down.
Okay.
What's today's date? 21st?
The 21st, the
All right.
winter solstice.
All right. All right. So what did he talk about in these one-on-one meetings? I know your phone blew up all day Thursday, and we had our Christmas party Thursday night, and we were talking about it then.
Yeah, it was our December monthly union meeting, and that's where we celebrate our council for being volunteers all year. But up until that point, I was really fielding a lot of questions, and I was glad. So when I say that, I'm glad that all the people called me to tell me what happened and that they reported this incident so that we would have this information to bring to you guys. But the talking points in those one-on-one meetings varied a little bit, but there was some consistencies throughout.
And I just want to say what we're going to talk about next in these talking points is information that we got from our members.
Yeah.
You weren't in a meeting. I wasn't in a meeting, but we heard from lots of people about what was said in these meetings. So go ahead.
Right. So first, he kind of talked about how he wanted to bring this to these people directly, that they could hear from him, and that he's being misrepresented, basically, and that he wanted to give them 3% raises for like 4 years. That was the first thing that I heard. Is 4%. I mean, 4 years at 3%.
3% on the base. So let's talk about misrepresented though. Didn't we meet with our members? Didn't we share their proposal and our proposal? We went through it page by page, line by line, and talked through every piece of it. Yeah. So we didn't misrepresent anything.
No.
We gave them exactly what's on the table. Now, things have progressed, things have moved, tweaked, whatever. And we've actually been having building meetings with our members.
Yes.
So we're not misrepresenting anything. We are giving our members exactly what's on the table, just like we do here with factual information.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the 3% plus base, 3% plus step, but 3% is on the base. Kevin, pull up the memo that he said first, not that, the other memo. Okay. So in the memo, Wendy, he sent this to you, and then he sent it to, I think, everyone else, right?
I think so.
So this just basically says the union was not available to meet on the board's proposed 4 dates prior to winter break, and they want to keep negotiations moving on. That's ironic. Because,
it's very ironic.
Yeah. And then he lists the board's package Supposal, that the Supposal is 3% on the base plus step, and it's for 4 years. And then they list some numbers, but these are averages. These aren't like, whatever, but the average increase over 4 years is 9,000, wage increase or 16.42%. So that's over 4 years. And that's the average. Some will make less, some will make more, depending on where you're on the salary schedule.
Well, and this is for our certified contract, but this amount wouldn't be the same for all people covered by this. So even putting this out, I think the people that he went to are really good people, intelligent people, and they all understand a lot of what's going on. Okay. And I don't know every single person he met with, but I do think that some of this could be misleading to anybody. So a para doesn't make the same as a teacher. And if you just see this, you might think we might all get that. And that's not the case.
Right. So Kevin, you want to pull up the comparison so I could talk through this a little bit? If I could see these numbers, can you make it as large as? Okay, that's better. All right. So what you have here is, this is something I created. And this compares Cahokia salary schedule in blue to East St. Louis in orange, Granite City in red, Belleville 201 high school in purple, 118 Belleville Junior High and Elementary in green, and O'Fallon High School in blue. I picked these ones because, you got to pick some peers. I tried to pick K-12 districts like yours. The most comparable comparison is Eastside in orange. That's why I put it next to it. So to compare, it's really difficult because each schedule has steps down the left. It has education lanes. So what I did here is I looked middle of the schedule to look at like a crosshair kind of thing. Right. So middle schedule in education is master's column.
Okay.
So it would be somebody with a master's. So I compared all of these to masters. And then I want to look at step 13 because that's middle of your schedule. Okay. So in Cahokia, a teacher with a master's degree and 13 years of experience makes $61,576. Okay. Now let's compare that to the other 5. In East St. Louis, 13-year teacher with a master's degree makes $74,865. That's $13,000 more, or 21.58% more.
Wow.
Okay.
It's a big difference.
Big difference. In Granite, that same teacher, 13 years with a master's, makes $84,000, $22,700 more, or 37% roughly more than a teacher in Cokia.
Yeah.
Move on to 201. They make $22,978 more, 37% more. Move on to 118, 20%, $20,378 more, 33% more. Move on to O'Fallon High, $6,681 more, 11% higher. Now, again, this is from last year. So every one of these locals, every one of these school districts besides yours got a raise this year. Okay. So the numbers even grew. So when you hear me say Granite or Cahokia is about 18% less than their peers, it's averaging out all of these numbers. Okay. But when you look at these other 5 districts, you're roughly about 21% behind them. Okay. You will never, ever catch up with a Supposal like you got to these other districts. You will never be able to recruit and retain good people with a Supposal that's on the table. So let's look at this a different way, though, and then I'm going to move off of this because I don't want to spend a ton of time on this. If I'm a teacher in Cahokia and I progress through 25 steps on the salary schedule, so I'm here from year 1 through 25, and I'm the same teacher in East St. Louis from year 1 through 25. The teacher in East St. Louis in that 25 years will make $306,000 more than the teacher in Cahokia. That's a lot of money.
Right? I'm living that.
Yeah, I know.
My peers are living that, and it's difficult, especially when we're called greedy, when he plays these games.
Right. If I'm the same teacher in Granite that goes through the schedule 25 years, I make $434,000 more than a teacher in Cahokia, same 25 years.
Yeah.
If I'm a teacher in Belleville High, $440,000 more over the 25 years than a Cahokia teacher. If I'm a 118 teacher, $348,000 more than a Cahokia teacher in the same 25 years. And lastly, if I'm an O'Fallon high school teacher, $176,000 more than the Cahokia teacher over the same 25 years.
It's just, and this isn't new to me because, as we've looked at this data over and over again during bargaining, this is what we know, and we've told our members, and I think they instinctively also know, just like anecdotally from talking to friends in other districts. But when you also look at how long it would take somebody on year 13 to just make what other school districts are making on year 13, we can't. Like in Cahokia, you can stay here 25 years and not make what some places are making in year 13.
So I just want, if the school board's watching, if McCall or any of his surrogates are watching, this right here, this data shows why teachers are leaving. It shows why you can't hire and keep teachers in your district. This data.
Yeah.
All right, let's move off that one, Kevin. Thanks. Appreciate that.
From what people told me, he said that his proposal over the 4 years would catch us up, and you just blew that out of the water. Like, that is not the case. It would keep us forever not.
So look, here, would it catch you up if the other districts took a freeze? You're going to gain 16% on average over the 4 years. Do you think other districts are going to freeze?
No.
They're not. They're going to get the same kind of raises. So in order for you to catch up, you've got to get a higher increase than them year after year after year. So you've got to make up anywhere from 18 to 21% on your peers.
Yeah.
So if they get a 4%, you got to get a 6%. And they're not getting 3% on the base, which I know that we're getting in the weeds on this, but his Supposal will not catch you up.
No.
All right. So, he also minimized in his talking with one-on-ones. He minimized language that he's trying to either move or take away.
Yes. He said to some people things like 80-90% of the stuff that they've said that I'm wanting, I'm gonna back off of. I don't need all of that. I just said that. And so
so why would, I mean,
Yeah.
again, I know you don't know the answer to this,
Right.
but my question is, if you don't need it, why are you proposing it? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I tried to ask detailed questions because, as you know, we live this language every
Right.
day, and we've been at the table a long time, and we've been talking about this. So to ask members to recall what happened, and I'm trying to teach as all of this is happening too, but they're like, well, he said he was going to pull back on the personal days, that he made his point, the sick days, I'm sorry. And that we'll go back to like being able to take 3 days and then need a doctor's note instead of needing a doctor's note for less. And I thought, well, that sounds hopeful. Like that's something that we really want.
Right.
And we had it before. This wasn't anything we'd ever think about giving up. It was just school code basically. But we were hoping that our board would even recognize that we should be able to use our sick leave. But that's not when we actually got the proposal. That's really not the whole story, is it?
No. So why don't we just go through these one by one?
Okay.
And then just talk through them.
Sure.
So favored nations, for, again, people to understand, favored nations clause in the teacher's contract basically says that non-union certified employees can't get a larger raise than what the teachers get in their contract. Okay. He has proposed to eliminate that from day one. He's got to get rid of it.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense. Why does he want to get rid of it? He wants to get rid of it so he could pay his friends and family that are certified as much as he wants to pay them.
Yeah.
He was telling people in meetings that, favored nations hasn't changed since its inception in like 1981. And the language just needs to be updated. We just need to update this language. So was the language updated in his Supposal?
No, it was just eliminated.
It was eliminated, right? Because we know what he wants to do. We know what he wants to do based on who he's shown us he is.
He's told reporters that a lot of this stuff too hurts kids, but we know this would just help him.
Right. It would help him get rid of a bunch of money to people that he wants to give money to.
Yeah.
Okay. Lesson plans. What did he say about lesson plans to people in meetings?
That it wouldn't really be that bad, and that they would be like just like a page long, like I'm just needing like a page, some objectives and things like that.
Right. And his whole proposal, which is a 12-step, lesson plan that you have to turn in, didn't change. So it's not a one page.
Yeah, it's the same proposal. And I mean, I guess if you typed it really small, it could fit on one page.
Like 6 fonts.
You're right.
Okay. Sick leave, back to the way it was. We're really over that. I was, trying to make a point, blah, 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 whatever. So they do eliminate the language on the 1 day, but the fine print says we're going to enforce school code, and school code allows them to ask for a doctor's note for 1 day, the same as the language is.
Yeah.
So again, tell the truth. Stop spreading this misinformation and trying to bully people into siding with you.
Well, and saying, well, I won't really do that sick leave thing anymore. He is saying in his proposal, if he really needed to, though, he could. And
Right.
So we're living with, if at any point he decides to change his mind,
Right.
we have nothing in writing to back this up. So that's risky, especially given his track record.
Yeah. And, we want to meet with the district because typically you go through and explain your rationale on a proposal or a supposal. Typically you have a back and forth over different things. So we want, we're not going to talk about everything, because we want to have that back and forth with them. We just wanted to point out some of the things he said. And we also need to clarify some stuff.
Yeah, we don't
with
have
their
context.
Supposal.
We have
Right.
questions. Some of it isn't altogether clear for us either. So we don't want to spread anything untrue.
But here's what we do know based on their Supposal in black and white in writing.
Yes.
There's no insurance offer. They didn't increase the caps in insurance. So that means insurance rate premiums, when they go up at the beginning of the year, and they will go up based on what the federal government's doing, based on his nonsense with asking everybody for a doctor's statement for every 20 minutes of sick leave, your rates are going up based on usage.
Yeah.
And whatever they go up, however much percent they go up, that's going to eat into your rates because he's not offering anything else on insurance.
And the insurance right now, and because basically we're in a freeze also with salaries, it's already not affordable for many of our staff. I keep going back to this. It's a crying shame that we have paraprofessionals that the raises that you're seeing would be substantially less than what they'd be for teachers. But that
Correct.
insurance, there's no deal for them. And so for people who earn the least, those premiums are the hardest to reach. Single parents, people who are trying to do family insurance, they're going to go up, and he's got a freeze on the table for that.
Yep, for sure. What was else? Bidding. Taking bidding away for certified and non-certified in the teacher's contract. So no more bidding. That's deleted from their Supposal.
Forced homebound is still in there. So all of my teachers that are out there that maybe have had no interest in working after school hours, maybe no ability to do that. Maybe they already work a second job that they like or whatever. You could be forced to do homebound.
Right. No class coverage payments. If you're in a co-teaching situation and one of you is gone, currently you get class coverage payments for that. That he's removed from the Supposal as well.
Also, he still has progressive discipline for sick leave gone, but he has some, and it's kind of hard to notice, but you could be fired if you, vague definition for this, but abuse your sick leave, you could be terminated.
Right. And we're never going to agree on what abuse of sick leave is with him.
No.
The reduction in retirement incentive is still in the Supposal. It takes you longer to earn a retirement incentive, and the benefit that's currently in the contract gets diminished by him as well.
I guess my personal favorite is giving up some of my personal leave. So in this proposal, I'm not sure he highlighted it because I wasn't privy to it, but instead of giving 5 personal days, which is what we currently enjoy, it moves it back down to 3. Still need approval. One of them wouldn't carry over to sick leave if you didn't use it. And only 2 people can use it at a time in a building.
Oh my goodness.
And Brady, all of our buildings have the exact same number of people, right?
Yeah, that not.
Right. So
AC/DC
with like 10 versus the high school with, over
Right.
100. I mean, it's just
it's
terrible
crazy.
Proposal.
Yeah, so we didn't hear from anyone that he said he was taking 2 personal days away. No one told us that. I wonder why he kept that.
He probably didn't lead with it.
Right, probably not. Also in his Supposal, reduces progressive discipline for non-certified from 5 steps down to 3.
So still easier to fire.
Still easier to fire somebody.
Yeah.
Lots of other things. These are the ones we highlighted. Again, we're going to meet with them sometime in January. We're trying to work with our bargaining team right now to get a date together to meet with them. But stay tuned for an update down the road on CFT Live for a bargaining update. So what do you say we take a break from the main segment?
What time is it?
It is time for Below the Belt. And breaking news is not happening. Okay. Well, we got to figure that out later, Kevin, I guess.
You could make the sound effects, right?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
All right. So below the belt, you're below the belt for today. We're going to discuss a total misallocation of funds, blatant disregard for our contract, and employees that are assigned to do the work by Stephanie Belt and her office.
Okay, so we're going to travel back to September 27th for this event. And actually, we sent an email, the union sent an email to superintendent about a locksmith company doing bargaining unit work.
Right.
Now, just to be clear, because some people may not realize this, but we have service workers as part of our bargaining unit. And one of those service workers is a locksmith. He does all the locks in the district.
Right. And have had a locksmith person in our unit for a long time.
Yes, yes.
So what you see on the screen now is an initial email that Wendy sent to the superintendent. And it's just kind of detailing the problem. September 27th at 2:20. She's writing to talk about this issue, that people saw a locksmith working in the building. We have a person, it's actually Darius Jenkins, who is the locksmith, and it's in our bargaining unit. And if there's locksmith work, they should do it.
Yeah, it's our work.
Right. So then the next page, you also with that, Wendy sent this.
Yes. So anytime I'm investigating something for our members to enforce our contract or to enforce our rights, we also have to have information, and we have the right to request that. So I sent a formal request for information under the Labor Relations Act so that we could investigate. And I wanted the names of outside locksmiths being used for any work, the dates and times of any work in the district, and copies of invoices of that.
Right. And we got some information back. We got it back on what day do we get this? I don't know when we received this.
Oh, September, he said.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the date the invoice was sent. Anyway, this is the information they sent us. So the locksmith sent an invoice for $1,010, and that invoice was sent on September 19th. So which begs a different question, Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get to that question in a second. So they made one master key at $50 at the bottom, 5 other keys at $20 a piece, 5 rekey service at $150, and that's how you get to the $1,010. And then the dates on the left-hand side of the page, that's a sticky note that they wrote on here. The locksmith apparently worked on 9/22 from 9 to 12:30. He worked on 9/23 from 9 to 11, and Wednesday 9/24 for 45 minutes. So the question I was going to ask is, how does the locksmith send an invoice on September 19th when the work was done on September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th?
That's a great question. And this is the type of stuff that normally HR is all over if there's any little thing that's not in tune when it comes to like our doctor's notes and needing reimbursement for those. But this didn't match up. And honestly, I didn't catch it right off the bat.
Right.
You noticed it, but I didn't.
So either they made a mistake, which they make mistakes constantly, or there was a locksmith doing other work at this time.
Yeah.
All right. So then the next page, Kevin, we get an email, or you got an email from Stephanie Belt, and you want to talk through that?
So I get an email from her, and actually, hold on. She thanks me for bringing it to her attention, and she talks about how the locksmith company performed 6.25 hours, and they went ahead and compensated our locksmith, Mr. Jenkins, for that at his overtime rate of pay on his next payroll check. So we were able to resolve this by getting that pay.
So when I say that this is money that's spent that shouldn't have been spent, it's taxpayer money that shouldn't have been spent. This is our bargaining unit work. Darius would have done this work while he was on the clock being paid. So what did they do? They used an outside locksmith. They paid over $1,000 for that work to be done by the locksmith. Then they had to pay him $250 in overtime pay because that's what our contract calls for. So they spent $1,260 of taxpayer money because they didn't want to use him to change the locks.
Yeah, it's a waste.
It's a waste of money. It shouldn't have happened. Not only is it a waste of money, it's a blatant disregard for him as a union worker and for the collective bargaining agreement. It's anti-union. Why? Why? I mean, we don't know why, but I'm going to ask the question why.
Well, and Dr. Belt, walking in our Labor Day parade with your husband and claiming to be pro-union when your receipts suggest something completely different, your actions suggest you are not a labor-friendly person or supporter of labor. So I also ask, why?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. If our members made a mistake like this, Wendy, and cost the district, well, no, let me say this differently.
Okay.
Because this isn't a mistake.
No.
This is on purpose. So if our members did something that on purpose to cost the district $1,200, what would happen to them?
They'd be terminated.
They would be terminated.
And how many times does this happen? And we just don't know it.
I'm guessing more often than not. And that's why, you all just happen to be in the right place at the right time and see the locksmith truck.
Yeah.
So what else do we know? We know that we know for a fact that Belt's office has given raises to employees that they weren't entitled to.
Yep.
And we are in the process of getting to the bottom of it. We're going to hold McCall and Belt and her office accountable because they are doing this either intentionally or making mistake after mistake after mistake.
And I'm really looking forward to those episodes in the new year where we're going to be talking more about topics related to Dr. Stephanie Belt and human resources.
Yep, it's going to be fun. We got several episodes planned on her office. By the way, which has a TV in it that they watch TV shows. The door's always locked. Lights are off usually.
That's human resources.
Human resources, yeah. So, all right. So let's get back to the main segment. That's your below the belt.
Yeah. Okay. So
so
back to the main segment. This is where I get disparaged.
This is where you get talked about. So in these meetings, he also said some things about you.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and share since it's about you.
So apparently I don't respond to him. That was one of the things that was said. And the memo that was sent out also kind of names me a bunch of times. Apparently my schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Do you remember any time that you didn't respond to him over anything?
Not that I can recall, not that I'm perfect. I could have missed something, but I will say he doesn't communicate with me very frequently. If he calls me, he has Deputy Superintendent Mitchell actually place the call, and I'm on speakerphone. Okay. And she'll say, Wendy, this is Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent Mitchell. I have Superintendent McCall. Are you okay to talk? I try to take those calls if I can. I will step into the hall if I have to. If I call back, it's usually a few minutes later. If he sends me an email, I do my best to answer very promptly.
Yeah.
He's my boss. I mean, and I do respect that he is the superintendent.
Right, for sure. So let's look at the memo that he sent, Kevin. Let's kind of pull this up. So this is a memo. He talked to our members, basically accused Wendy of not getting back to him. And he sends this 4 or 5 page memo out that kind of goes through dates. Now this lists dates, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, but because I haven't checked date by date by date, but it lists dates back to June. Mm-hmm. Service workers met at the board building 5 p.m. Service workers met at the IFT.
And this sort of shows what we've been saying all along. Like on June 17th, like one of us would be like, here's our proposal. Then we would break. Mm-hmm. Then on June 24th, we would get a chance to respond to that proposal.
Right.
So like we're taking these little baby steps. It moves at a snail's pace.
3 meetings for each group. Where it gets interesting is in November. And I will say this, and I've said it before, from June through November, we were saying, let's speed up. Let's speed up. Can we combine some of these meetings together? No.
Right.
In November, we had agreed to a Saturday meeting. I had to cancel that meeting due to an emergency, which we did. And then we were trying to reschedule a meeting. The district canceled a couple of them, their attorneys. And I will say this, that in defense of him and myself, I have 17 locals. He's running a law firm. Things come up that we have to attend to, and we do cancel meetings from time to time. It happens in every negotiation session.
And it's always happened in Cahokia's as well. This is not something new.
So I got a call from the attorney on December 8th, and they wanted to meet December 9th or 11th. We have staff meetings a couple times a year for the IFT, and I was in Chicago for staff meetings the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and couldn't do it. So I was unavailable because I can't be in 2 places at once. And then he lists all these other dates here, basically saying we've offered dates, up through Christmas and New Year's, and Wendy isn't available. Wendy never got back to us. What actually happened?
So as I was walking into the board building one morning, I was going to meet with Tanya and Curtis and a member. I got a call from you asking if I could meet on 2 dates. And one was a Friday and one was a Wednesday. So it's Friday, December 12th and Wednesday, December 17th. And those, and I explained to you, would have been challenging.
And they wanted to meet during the day. They now all of a sudden said, we'll give your people release time to come meet during the day.
That's correct. But I didn't know it when you first.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm getting ready to go into a meeting. I've got about 5 minutes, and you gave me these 2 dates. And I said, boy, Friday, December 12th is going to be really tough for me because I did have something already planned, and it was just personal. And I was thinking to myself, could I cancel it? And as I was processing it, I remember thinking, but other people on a Friday night with very little notice are probably going to be busy too. And I quickly recalled that December 17th was the high school's Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And our principal had purchased tickets for people to go. And I knew several people from our team had RSVP'd and that you couldn't get probably a refund or whatever.
Right.
So I said that to you. And that's when you said, he's even willing to meet during the day. And that's when I said to you, that really isn't going to work for me. That is going to pose big problems. So the 17th is finals at the high school, and I need to proctor those and give those. So that's a terrible day to miss if you can help it. But I also needed to give, it's my evaluation year. I was kind of explaining to you, teachers have to show student growth as part of our evaluation. And I do miss my class more than I would like to, especially my last hour class. I was afraid that if I missed that class, it would really affect my evaluation. And as we were talking it through, I remember, saying, I guess let's just do Friday night, or just say we'll do Friday. I'll make it work. And then it occurred to me, I could just talk to them about it. They were both sitting in there. I'm getting ready to walk into a meeting.
Right.
So we agreed to press pause, and I would just see if there was any flexibility. So when I walked into the room, and I don't remember my exact words, but they would not let the member that I was with hear this conversation.
Right.
Okay. So we were alone. It was just me and Superintendent McCall and Tanya. And I explained that the last 2 weeks before Christmas are just jam-packed for teachers right now, that on such short notice, even if they said, well, Wendy, instead of the 17th, can you do the 18th? I had a lot going on. And I said, is this really something that we can't talk about just doing like the first day we come back from break? The 18th, for instance, is our December executive board meeting for the union. And we have booked a room for that. Like it's a Christmas meeting. And they did not act like it was a big deal at all. I just remember Mr. McCall saying that would be fine. So I did not anticipate
Sure.
that it was an issue like this.
So the other thing is you're pulled out of your classroom constantly to deal with union issues, right?
Yes.
Which is fine. But that's the other thing you told them,
Right.
that you've been out of the classroom so often.
Well, and I want to be fully transparent. Part of why I've been out recently also was union work of my choosing. So we have also been meeting with our members, and for their convenience, so that I could meet with them as their workday ended, I left my campus. So some of the work site meetings we went to have interfered with my
Right.
teaching. And I felt like it was very, very important, though, that I have those conversations with members, and I do get release time for union work.
Right.
So, you know, I'm part of that. Like, I'll take the ownership of that.
Yeah. So, what I want to say here is, do our members, do our followers on CFT Live really think that Wendy is the one that doesn't answer, that isn't responsive, that isn't professional? I mean, I'm protective of you as my president, as someone that I work closely with. So, I'm going to throw that question out, but I'm going to answer it also. Because we've shown things before on here about their lack of response to us, and it happens over and over and over again. And we're going to show you a stack of things here where they just ignore. They don't respond.
It's so often. I mean, you can't even imagine how often.
Yeah. So, first email is about payday. There was an issue with
It's still
HR
outstanding.
paying people on the wrong day, and you sent an email on November 25th, and then on December 7th, you sent an email to McCall. I sent you an email 12 days ago, and I have not heard anything back other than received from Tanya. Tanya. I can never remember how to say her name. When can the union expect a response?
We're still waiting.
You're still waiting. December 7th.
And this is about payday and bargaining. So no response.
No response.
We'll have to file a ULP probably.
Correct. Okay. So there's one in Wendy's favor. McCall didn't answer. Let's talk about the next one.
Okay. So let's see. This one I sent December 15th. Oh no, that was the follow-up. November 20th.
Yep.
Please consider this a formal request for information under the Illinois Education Labor Relations Act to investigate or process a grievance and or ULP. And I was asking for a whole bunch of stuff to help with, we think somebody was hired in much higher.
Right. So there's the information request that she sent, and we'll go back to the previous page. And on December 15th, November 20th, you sent it. December 15th, you said, as of today, December 15th, the requested information has not been provided, and there has been no communication other than your acknowledgement that you received the request. And again, it's a one word, received. So clearly this got a response, right?
No, and I even put in the whole failure to comply leaves us with no option but to escalate to the labor board.
So December 21st, we're in right now, and you still don't have a response to that one.
Ignored again.
Oh, okay. So there's two in your favor. I'll talk about this one because this is mine. On September 8th, I sent an information request about exempt employees and their sick leave usage, asking for several different things around sick leave usage because we want to get to the bottom of some employees that maybe don't come to work.
Right. I was really wanting to know that too. I mean, they are all over our sick leave.
Yeah. So on October 21st, I sent another email to McCall. It's been 43 days since this request was made. 43 days is unacceptable to wait for information that could have been pulled rather quickly. We are requesting the information by close of business today. It's December 21st.
I say, did you get it by the close of business on October 21st before Halloween?
No, and as a matter of fact, December 21st, 2 months later, I still don't have it.
Don't have it.
Okay. So that's another one in your favor. Let's go on to the next one.
So we just had to have, it's kind of funny too, but they rescheduled a board meeting and we have people who were supposed to go for hearings. Their employment is, pre-termination, guys, like I'm representing them.
Right.
So we asked, because these were sent like at the last minute, on Tuesday, December 16th, the district issued, and it's a person, a letter at 3:07 stating that her pre-termination hearing was being rescheduled for the evening of Friday 19th. Asking if we could have it postponed so that we could properly prepare.
And you got an answer right away for that, right?
No response at all.
Right. I had to call the attorney to get an answer. Same thing with another one here. Another person we're representing. We wanted to move it. Didn't get a response. Had to have the attorney get involved and reschedule the meeting.
And sadly, this is just a few that were quick and easy to pull. I have a file that I keep on this, and it's huge. And I've made the board aware of it. I've even went into board executive session meetings to say, employees that you pay to be professional, we don't get responses to these types of things, grievances and things.
Yeah. So it's none of them respond.
No.
It's blatant. It's a blatant disregard. When you're a superintendent and you don't respond about payday, about your employees being paid on the wrong day when the union president brings that to you, and you don't respond, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big problem. So I'm going to decide you win the argument of who doesn't respond. He doesn't respond.
I thank you. You might be a little biased, but I
maybe just a little. All right. So the other thing we haven't talked about, we're at an hour, so we want to kind of go through this rather quick, and this part will be quick, is what does this proposal do to the other two groups, the secretaries and the service workers?
Well, and it's kind of a mystery, but probably nothing good is my opinion. This was only for the certified folks. And we have had concerns all along that if we settle first, the other two could get better offers or far worse offers.
Right.
So we don't know, but we do think it's a divide and conquer.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we felt like we had to have the podcast. That's your main segment, the Indecent Supposal. I'm sure we'll talk more about this down the road. What do we got coming up?
So our next podcast is going to be a live CFT live. It's January 6th at 7 p.m. And we're going to talk about voices from the classroom and unspoken challenges and triumphs.
Yeah, it is going to be alive. It's going to be at our office. So we want members, community members, to show up at our office for Executive Drive. We're going to do it live. We're going to have fun. We're probably going to play a live game during the show. We're going to do some interviews and talk to some people. So mark that on your calendars. Show up at the event. It's going to be fun. It's always fun to have a live audience here for a show. We did it one other time.
Yes.
Board meeting.
So it's scheduled right now for January 12th at 6:30, and we're asking all of our members to attend and any of our supporters that would like to go. So that'd be great if you guys could make it.
We'll ask for a change of venue for that as well, and it'll be at the school that's too small with no parking, because that's what he does. He doesn't want people to have a voice.
Yeah.
Worksite visits. Wendy and I have been going to schools. We are going to continue that in January. And we're going to continue talking to our members, probably talk about the proposal, I'm sure.
Yes.
So look for us if you haven't seen us at a school near you soon.
And then we're going to really ramp up our actions. We have a lot planned for the new year, and we're going to need every member to participate fully.
Yep, for sure. Action team's been busy. We're putting together a pretty good plan of actions. So stay tuned for that. We need every one of our members to participate, like Wendy said.
Yeah.
All right. Like and share the podcast. Share it to your own page, share our content. That's how you get the word out.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to do our thing here. And our members are going to do their thing with action. So
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the next couple of months. All right. Well, we've talked about a lot. You want to go first with parting thoughts?
Yeah. So for me, this is a time of year when I'm kind of reflective. It's getting close to New Year's Eve, setting New Year's resolutions. December for teachers, especially high school teachers, you review for final exams and you look back over where you've been and you hit the main points for the semester to drive home those things. So I just thought like I would kind of review with our members where we've been. You guys, we have rallied together at so many different events. We have stood together wearing our shirts, wearing our buttons, acts of solidarity. We have uncovered a lot of truths this semester about our district. We started this podcast and it's a together thing. I know that Ray and I are the voices of this, but your voices and your participation are the most important part. We celebrated the strike of 1975 in our local this semester. We've talked about Mr. McCall's connections with lots of his employees, how he believes he's the chosen one. We have
that was a good one.
Yeah. We have talked about the number of permanent subs that are teaching the children in our district. We have uncovered consultants that are making a lot of money. One makes $1.8 million. We have looked at data and documents. We've stood together with SWAC and other labor organizations in our area. We've pushed back against a lot. And I'm really proud to be a member of 1272. I'm so proud of the work we're doing. I think we've done a great job leading up to this. And next year, I can't wait to get a contract and continue pushing back. We're not stopping. We're going to keep fighting for what's right for our students and for our community. So looking forward to 2026.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm looking forward to it as well. So I'm gonna finish out the year with kind of giving my thoughts on what we just talked about and tie it into some of the things we've talked about in the past. This wasn't a mistake by him. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a choice. He made a choice to do what he did. When a superintendent ignores labor law, ignores a contract, it's because he believes he's above the law. Without question. He believes the law doesn't apply to him. He knows the rules, he knows the process, but he breaks the rules and the process anyway, because he thinks his power is immune. Labor law exists to stop exactly the kind of behavior that he's displaying. He went around the union, he went around you, he went around us, he went around the bargaining team. He's trying to silence workers, and he's trying to bully people one-on-one to get what he wants. That's not leadership. That's being a coward. Real leaders bargain in good faith. Real leaders respect workers and contracts. Real leaders don't fear the collective voice of workers. They embrace it. When you can't recruit qualified staff, when you inflate salaries for friends and family, when your first moves in office is to promote your wife and your brother, and when you still think the union is the problem, you might be the problem. That tells us everything. This isn't about ego, it's about power, and it's about an abuse of power. You don't get to run a public school like it's your fiefdom. You don't. You are, but we're going to keep exposing it. You don't get to ignore the law because it's inconvenient for you. And you don't get to break workers to prove you're in charge. Everyone knows you're the superintendent. Everyone knows you're the boss. We see it. We've documented it. And 1272 is not backing down, because we're going to stand up. We're going to fight. and we're coming. Buckle up, Junior.